John Zikias is the Citizen Science Chair and has been since 2019. He immediately, upon joining the Conservancy, became deeply involved in the Conservancy programs and joined Citizen Science as the Assistant Chair. Since 2021, John has served as the Program Chair and has worked tirelessly to recruit stewards and enhance our communication and educational opportunities. So thank you, John.
Thank you, Melanie. So as Melanie said, I'm John Zikias. I'm also a lead steward and a certified citizen scientist. And my presentation will provide a brief overview of some of our programs, our projects, and challenges and accomplishments over the past year. Also, we are recording this, so we will make this available for your viewing pleasure in the future. And I'm going to work with the team, and as we did last year, we'll break this down into different sections so that you don't have to view all 4.5 hours at once. So, and as Melanie mentioned, we work very closely with the Parsons Field Institute, and our mission is to engage stewards as citizen scientists, to conduct ecological research, to inform long-term natural resource management, and inspire stewardship of the desert. And that's very, very closely aligned with the Parsons Field Institute mission. And one of the things, as we look at our priorities in the Field Institute and our priorities in the Citizen Science Program, they're very much in alignment, which makes our working together really gratifying and more efficient. So this is our leadership team, and we're steward volunteers, and we manage projects in collaboration with the Field Institute. These certified citizen scientists bring a varied knowledge and backgrounds and a passion for the project that they manage or projects they manage to better understand the various impacts on the flora and fauna in the preserve. And as I've mentioned this in other presentations, when I've presented, and I was actually lucky enough to present at a ecotourism conference with Tiffany back in February in Tucson, most of our stewards do not have a scientific background. And I even mentioned at S101, I sold stuff for a living. I worked on stuff for a living my whole life that people really didn't need, but they wanted. So I'll leave it at that. That's kind of like Art's working in closed buildings his whole life. But they just over time, people have developed a passion for the different projects they work on. And they learn, as Justin says, they really learn to teach. And I'm really proud of all these folks. They work so damn hard all year long on their projects. And as I mentioned, we work with the Field Institute. Melanie, you've already met. Mary Fastigi is the restoration manager, and Jesse Dwyer is our biodiversity manager. And they'll be presenting with some of the stewards today on a number of the key projects. So a little bit about our year. We worked on 15 different projects. Some of those projects have sub-projects, which is how we get to 15. This year, we had over 197 stewards participate in science projects with at least 4 hours or more. And we generated over 10,473 citizen science hours. To give you an idea of that, the only program in the Conservancy that generates more hours is the patrol program. Every other program contributes less. And that is a significant increase over last year, which was somewhat stunted because of COVID, but we still, even last year, had 5,900 hours. We had over 71 stewards attend Citizen Science 101 this year, which is our orientation, which is fairly impressive because there was only 125 new steward trainees that went through S101 this year. So that's pretty impressive that nearly 3/4, or about 60% or so, of the new stewards that came to the Conservancy this year attended Citizen Science 101. And our last class was in March, and we only got about 4 of those, so it could have been a lot higher. We also had 4 new certified citizen scientists this year. So we now have 67 certified citizen scientists. And we also collaborated, which was one of our key priorities this year, on a number of projects with the patrol program, construction and maintenance, guided hike and bike, nature guide, and trailhead ambassadors, and education. So we've been working with these other programs so we expand our reach within the preserve and outside the preserve. And our project leads did a fantastic job this year training so many new stewards. I mean, we went from 18 months of no new help and really struggling to get some projects done to having, as I said, 71 stewards go through Citizen Science 101. So they really worked hard to provide education, leadership opportunities, and sharing their passion for the projects they manage. So last year was a very interesting year for many reasons, but after a very dry 2020 and winter of 21, we had our first above average monsoon season in several years. The amount of summer rain had an impact on a number of our projects, from our non-native plants, restoration, bird counts, butterfly counts, and phenology studies. In fact, in our fall 2021 butterfly count, recorded the most butterflies ever at over 9,600 versus an average of less than 2,000. But then after such a dry year, we had the rain. And in late July and August, we received in some parts of the preserve over 150% of average rainfall. And while this was a positive impact for most of the flora and fauna, especially those amphibians of the preserve, the rains also allowed a lot of the non-native plants, especially bufflegrass, that had built up a significant seed bank in the ground to flourish. And Paul Staker is going to talk more about our efforts in surveying, monitoring, and treating non-native plants in the preserve. Some of our other accomplishments, and I didn't have a lot to do with this, but Jackie and Justin did, was Melanie returning. And we're very pleased that she's come back in the role of Director of Science and Education. This is a great opportunity for the Citizen Science Program leadership to work with Melanie and her team to continue our outstanding research to better communicate our results beyond those involved with our programs. This will help more of the general public understand how the research we are conducting and recommendations on key actions individuals can take to ensure the health of our preserve, the city, and the Sonoran Desert for the long term. In addition to Melanie's return, this past summer, Jesse Dwyer joined the Parsons Field Institute team. Recently, Jesse completed the master's program at ASU with an MS in Applied Biological Sciences with a focus on bat habitats in urban environments. Jesse had previously worked with our team in 2019 as a research assistant and on our bat project and provided useful insights and support in the field. This made Jesse an ideal fit and has been a great addition to our team. And with Tiffany leaving the organization in April for an outstanding opportunity, Jesse will focus on our biodiversity projects, while Mary will continue to focus on our restoration projects. This year also, we discovered 7 new species in the preserve. These have come through our monitoring projects, and it's brought our total to over 1,020 species of flora and fauna. This year, 2 new bird species, such as the willow flycatcher, 5 invertebrates, such as the tailed orange butterfly and Mexican yellow, and 1 new amphibian, which was our first in over 11 years, the Woodhouse's toad. So we're very pleased that we continue to find new species in the preserve, even as our total is now well over 1,000. So in our number of projects, as I mentioned, we manage 15 different projects throughout the year. And under the biodiversity, they're ongoing and had some changes to the current project. And we also had several new projects. And you'll learn more about some of these during the upcoming presentations about the wildlife camera project, our bat program, and tortoises. However, I wanted to mention all the important projects we worked on this year. For instance, our arthropod project conducted 3 capture studies this year at 4 locations. So I mentioned butterflies saw the largest count ever in September with over 9,600 individuals. And in the spring, we also counted over 1,800 individuals and 33 species, which was above average and well above Ron Ratowski, our ASU partner, estimates. We were pleased we were well above estimate. Our 7 bird counts and biweekly steward-only bird walks yielded 2 new species and help educate many new stewards on the practice of understanding our flying friends in the preserve. On our restoration projects, which are also very important, you'll hear about non-native plants and restoration today. In addition, we have made great progress on several other projects. Our soil crust, we've been working with our partners and have been seeking to grow soil crust in a controlled environment. One that looks most promising can replicate 70% of the growth cycle, which is typically over 15 years in just 8 months. This is really fantastic news. And our plant phenology project added 1 new species at 2 of our 3 locations this year. And this important work is shared with other organizations through the use of the NPN app and is helping scientists understand the impact of climate change and weather patterns on flora in the preserve. Our new communications team is helping us improve and expand the reach of our research project and results beyond involved stewards, the preserve, and into the general public. So just highlighting a couple of our programs, the Desert Tortoise Monitoring Project. And you'll hear more about this in depth, but this has really drawn significant steward involvement. And while the team encountered several challenges, the leads working with other stewards, students, interns, and guests ensured data was properly collected this past summer. Rob and Jesse will be presenting more in-depth information about this project during today's presentation. But needless to say, nearly 1/3 of the stewards that logged any hours from April to October last year participated in this important project. Our non-native plants, we continue our efforts to map, monitor, and remove non-native plants in the preserve. And Paul continues to lead this important project and will speak to our enhanced efforts to survey, monitor, and treat NNPs in the reserve. Another key accomplishment is not only completing the testing and compiling of results from our projects, but then developing research papers and submitting for peer review. In the past, we presented 2 papers, one on degraded lands and closed trail restoration, which were recently published. And the team has submitted a paper on our methodology and results of our non-native plant study in the quartz wash to biological invasions, and we're hoping to get that published later this year. As Melanie mentioned, all of our articles are written and co-authored by stewards who actively participate in each of the projects. I'm so proud of all the work our amazing PFI staff and stewards have accomplished over the past year, and we still have so much more to do. One of my focuses, in addition to leading the citizen science program, is working on our non-native plant project. I'm one of the 5 licensed herbicide applicators and tend to go where most won't. Well, I am the youngest, by the way. So as a joke, one of our stewards started taking photos and sending them around asking, "Where's John?" Kind of a play on the Where's Waldo books. This is a photo taken earlier this year of Drinkwater Peak, which is the 4th highest peak in the preserve at 3,910 feet. So can you see where John is? Well, it is tough to see a blue shirt against a blue sky. So here's a little hint. If you squint really hard, you can see me in the red circle. It is kind of fun way up there. I've been lucky enough to visit all 4 of the highest peaks in the preserve, which 3 are off trail. Unfortunately, all of them have non-native invasive species on them. But I've had the great honor of working with so many smart, dedicated, and especially funny stewards and staff that make all of our important work and challenges worth all the effort. So thank you, team, for all your help.